we see that in music often, right? Like we'll see, you might see an artist, especially the bigger name artists like a Kanye West, but even a big name artist like J. Cole also does that too, where you see they might have made the beat, produced it, produced it, wrote the lyrics, wrote the hook, sung the hook. You know what I'm saying? Like you have some artists that like to kind of, they're the only ones in there, and they have the ability to kind of do it all. You know what I'm saying? Then you have some artists that will go and get like a Timberland or somebody like to make their beat and they just rap over it or whatever the case may be. I think film is similar in that aspect. And in a sense we're okay with it in a sense when artists in a sense do it, but not. But how do we feel when
I,
filmmakers do
I
it?
got
You
a
know what I
lot
mean?
to say about this. Okay, so while you're saying it's similar, I kind of lean on in the other direction to where you have so much more control with music, and it's become at to this point by design to where you
Hold on,
have to.
before you go. I'm not saying that the work or what you have to do is similar. I'm just saying like when we sit down and we see the same name kind of hit in those roles, we're kind of
Mhm.
okay with it. Because I don't think the average person that listens to music might not know what actually goes into music. Just like the average person that watch film don't know what actually goes into filmmaking. So like we know there's a lot of work to write the script, to direct the script, to produce the script, to go and find the funding for the script, all that stuff. Like we know as filmmakers that we know that. But I'm just saying, like, like on the surface level, just like a straight surface level, I don't know what goes into making a song just as much as I don't know what goes into making a film. But for some reason, it's a little bit more acceptable to see Kanye West do everything when it comes to a song. But then when we start looking at filmmakers, we kind of start saying Tyler Perry. He directs, he writes, et cetera, et cetera. And you see a lot of his work look very similar. We kind of don't like that in film so much, but in music, it's a little bit more acceptable. So just like like just on the face of it is
Well,
kind
yeah,
of what
that speaks to, yeah, speaks to where I was going with it because it's like it's such more like film is such more of a collaborative process. Like I know for a fact me, um like do it like doing both, right? Like me going out to hold the camera, and then sometimes like I have to step in front of the camera, position it, just put it on a tripod or some shit because I can't use my gimbal and all my stuff. Like it's doing shit like that, going home, chopping up the footage, editing it, color grading, like whatever, like do all that, um, and then distributing it on whatever platform that are like all that is just like there's people like where if it's much more of a collaborative process, you're going to see somebody might see some shit in the color grade that or did some shit or tweak some shit on the color grade that I probably wouldn't have done in the editing room. Like somebody could have did some shit that made it that much better. And same thing to what you're saying, same thing applies to music. It's just music is the reason why it's more acceptable is because industry shit. It's like you if you want to the industry for music and industry for film is two different things. If you want to make it in music, the less people that can have your hands on your shit, that the less people that like less that it's stepped on, then the more pure the art is gonna come. That's the thinking. That's the thinking process behind your artist or whatever. With the film, it's like the more people that are involved, the more kind of the more kind of the more the ability to share, like the more collaborative it is, the ability to spread it out to a few more avenues. I don't know. And then it takes more time. It's way more
right.
time consuming. So I
Yeah,
don't know.
with film, it's really tricky because there's a lot of positions, especially at the level we're speaking about. We're talking about films that have a $20 million budget or a $100 million budget. So even if you are the director, the writer, and the producer, you're not the only producer. It's probably like six or seven more producers.
Right, right.
Zack Snyder is the director of photography as well as the director, but he's not holding the fucking camera. He might have a
Right.
camera operator. He might have a jib operator. He might have a steady cam operator. It's like, yes, he's taking on those other responsibilities, but even then, there's still a plethora of other things that are being worked at in the system by hundreds of other people. But still, I can still see your point where you can suffer if you hold on to too much responsibility. Just give it to somebody else, and that gives you a chance to somebody's playing loud ass music outside, and that just distracted the fuck out of me. Anyway, yo, that's funny as hell. It's like if you allow other people to come in to your project and have an input on it, it allows you to step away and focus on something else. And if it's that singular director role, you know, you will probably flourish more in that area a little bit more. And this person, it may not be exactly how you want it to the T, but it gave you a different perspective on that. So it might be, so say let's just say Jameis Samuel decides to hire a different composer and just tells them like, hey, do this, kind of do that. Okay, cool. I'm a go handle this over there. I'm gonna check in with you in a couple of weeks. And he just kind of gives feedback and gives input. And he can, even with that input, he can get it to a level where he likes it. So it really all depends on the circumstance.
One other thing I want to say about is that this, like what we were talking about earlier off camera, this is the business in influencing the art. So like with music, like if you, I would have to pay, like I already do. I pay an engineer to mix and master shit. You got to pay a producer to go ahead and make the beat. If you get a feature, you probably got to pay for that person because niggas is Hollywood now. So like there's a whole bunch of shit where it's like I can cut all of that out. I can record myself. I can sit there and I can write every lyric by myself. I don't need a feature. Like I can make the beat myself. Like everything to cut out the middleman, to cut out any sense of me spending any extra expenditures that I don't have to. With film, you're gonna have to spend. Like your budget's gonna be a little bit different. Like if you need somebody who's a specialist in this particular area in order to get your full vision out, you're gonna have to collaborate. It's not gonna be some shit where the business is gonna influence the art as much as music. I don't know if that makes sense.
No, it does. That's what I was gonna say. I think in film, you can't realistically, you can't be the subject matter expert in everything that it takes to make a film. Like you might be great at lighting, but you might not be great holding the camera, or there might be somebody else that is better at those type of things that can just bring a fresh idea intake or whatever the case may be. I do think since film is kind of like a trade in a sense, like where you have subject matter experts in certain aspects of film, it's always, in my opinion, better to go out. Hey, you're great at editing. Let's throw you in on the editing. And as independent filmmakers that we all kind of start out as, like we all kind of start that independent filmmaking aspect. We know what it takes to, and we know how our projects kind of fall short in certain aspects because we didn't have the budget or the the resources to just get somebody else to do that part because they could just focus more on that. And then you just have people that are just great at certain things that would make your project so much better.
Certified real.
Hey, I'm a little excited.
You heard it here first. Certified real. Everybody.
You are now listening to Real Talk Podcast.
This is Certified